So, how to identify a dynamic field in a UI web testing? Before going to that, we need to understand what is dynamic testing versus what is dynamic website. Imagine in a checkout page, have this coupon code, you can get some level of off, you write something, you write the coupon code on the existing field, and it automatically calculates from your checkout amount, from your total amount, they give you a different amount, what it will be coming into. So this is what we call it as dynamic testing. It's kind of changing based on the input, changing based on you click a button, you click a drop down box and some values are changing, and you do some JavaScript executions or any web based application executions, you do something and the page changes. That is what we call it as dynamic website. In contrary to that, the static website is something like a blog page or something. You don't send any information, it just stays the same text, same image, everything is static. That is what we call it a static website. This doesn't involve dynamic field. Dynamic field in UI test automation is something created on the fly. Like the same checkout folder, even if you are having coupon code, you click a button, the coupon code is hidden, coupon code field is hidden, and then you click a button, the field shows. It's still a dynamic website. It doesn't has to be a dynamic field. The field is, the text box is not dynamically generated, it was just hidden and shown to you. This can happen in most of the modern applications. They are using in this way. All models, all fields, all objects were already designed, but it's only shows or hides based on what the user changes. So dynamic website doesn't mean it's all dynamic website actions or new fields or new changes. Doesn't need to be a dynamic field. What is a dynamic field then? You might be seeing something like in a table, you have an existing table and you click a button and then it creates a new row of text boxes to input. So if you look at the identification of these fields, the identification is pretty much they don't have any static identification, but they keep changing dynamic identification. For example, coupon code, let's say I have 5 coupon codes and the consumer can input up to 5 coupon codes for the same purchase, and then they click this button, they click this plus button multiple times, and the text box is generated. 4 new text boxes came. That is dynamic website field. That becomes a dynamic field for test automation, or this becomes a problematic for dynamic field for web automation only when we don't have any specific name for this field. For this field, in every field they might have test IDs, general IDs, names, some level of reference for this field. Sometimes they create this field on the fly and keep adding these buttons. Let's say first one says coupon code underscore 1. When you click it, if it comes as coupon code underscore 3, coupon code underscore 3, 4, 5, 6, if they are on the runtime, they create this text field and then append to the existing list of fields. That's what a dynamic field means. Dynamic changes is not dynamic field. Dynamic field and dynamic changes are two different things. That's a basic understanding you have to have. So if it is a dynamic website, we don't need to spend too much time on that. All you need to do is get test IDs. You can do it in the repository yourself, the developer's repository yourself, or you ask the developer to do that. How we are implementing these test IDs is not a big deal, but you add a static ID to all type of fields, and then that will be hidden or shown based on the input. It's not that hard to maintain. What hard to maintain is this number of fields. So when you are doing this number of fields, the validations also very tricky, because as I mentioned, the 5 coupon code may be a requirement that the user can use up to 5 new coupon codes. Sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's only 1. Sometimes the requirement is keep changing for different level of users. There will be different type of text boxes. So in this case, what you have to do or how you can manage, you have to see what is the static reference of that field. There is always should be a static reference, otherwise you will not be able to find it. The one other way to do that is doing it through xbox, expand, doing it via nth child check. Those kind of values is still possible, but it gets more flaky, slow, and all those things. So how to make it better? You have to make a test ID for these fields, so that either it gets the same test ID for all fields that will cause problems in the modern application, or you get a dynamic test ID for each field, for this dynamic field, so that you can duplicate the same logic what the developer implemented into your automation framework to identify this. So you just static IDs will be stored somewhere, and then the variables, the change 1 2 3 4 5, it's do it in a loop or somewhere to figure out. That is best practice. The worst way, if we cannot do that, we cannot get any of these IDs from developer is busy, all those things. In that situation, what we will be doing, pretty much we simply do the nth child, take the parent component, let's say a div, a box, a plug box, or a div which has this, what is checkout div or checkout section, and then you take the section, and then you take the first child, second child, third child. So that is the worst way we can do. If there is no other option, that is our final depth. We need to figure it out, how to identify this field using this nth child in XPath. Otherwise, the best way to do that is get a static ID with an incremental value, so that we can duplicate the logic in automation framework.